What's up, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is June 14th, and just got back from a sweaty bike ride. Another day at the bakery. Nice, fast bike ride both ways. Rain free. Back to good sunny weather. In fact, it was supposed to. Every weather report in Houston is going to be different. You really can't predict what's going to happen here. You've got the humidity level and how hot is it. And when it's hot and humid, there might be a bunch of thunderstorms. And sometimes there's a hurricane. So, you really can't. I don't think that, I have multiple apps. None of them ever really predict the same thing. They're accurate to an extent, but today, as of yesterday, it was supposed to rain all day except for the morning. It was supposed to be a nice little window in the morning of no rain, and then it was supposed to be thunderstorms and nasty all day, and it didn't rain all day. As far as I'm aware, it didn't. I didn't see any rain today. It was nice and sunny on the way home. On the way in, it was a beautiful day. I'm tired, and what happens is I'll sit in this chair and cool off for a bit. I'll acclimatize, get mellowed out after that long bike ride, long day of work, and when I go to stand up, it's gonna feel the rigor mortis sets in. If you're an athletic person, when you work out heavily, especially if you play sports that are aerobic, like soccer, basketball, ultimate frisbee, football, whatever it is, if you play a sport that involves pivoting, running, cycling, if you do that, if you run, swimming, oh man, you go swimming. I don't know if you've ever felt this, but have you ever gone lap swimming or swimming in a pool, treading water, and basically staying in the water for over an hour, swimming and really not what's the word I'm trying to use? Not getting out of the pool, and then you grab onto that, and you feel, you don't feel it, and then you grab onto that ladder, and as soon as you get out of the pool, you're like, oh, you feel the weight of gravity pulling you down, and you're like, wow. It's like what the astronauts feel like when they come back from space. Can you imagine what those astronauts that Joe Biden left stranded in the space station for almost a fucking year? What was it? I don't even know. It was almost like, can you imagine what that felt like coming back to Earth? They probably had to be wheeled around in a fucking bed or a wheelchair. I think it would take weeks before you could even stand on your own 2 feet again. Feeling like I would just be like, send me back. I don't want gravity. Gravity fucking sucks. Whoa, you'd be so fucking exhausted just walking across your living room to pick up the remote control and walk back to your fucking recliner. That would be a day's worth of exercise right there if Joe Biden left you stranded on the space station for over a fucking year and Elon Musk had to come bring you back to Earth. The day you get back, you're not gonna be able to do shit. That's gonna be way worse than spending an hour in a swimming pool and feeling the pull of gravity when you climb on the ladder to get out of the water. Oh my God. Well, you get the same effect if you've ever played a 90-minute soccer match. You might go the whole game and feel, the adrenaline takes over and you're just in it, running, playing as hard as you can. And after the 90 minutes, you're like, yeah. And then you go and you drive home from the field or the building if it's an indoor match. And you go to get out of your vehicle and you're like, holy shit, you can't even sit up, you can't even get out of the car. And then you sit in a chair watching TV or whatever to mellow out for a bit, and you can't even stand up. You can't even stand up to go to the bathroom after like an hour. That happens to me pretty much every time I go to the bakery. I don't come home feeling that way, but I've been home for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. I think I was home for 5 minutes. I plugged in the phone. I thought I'd just start yapping. And I'm already feeling the effect. Like this chair is I'm starting to sink more and more into this chair. I'm telling you, by the time I hit stop on the video recorder, I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm gonna put in a frozen pizza covered in bacon. No, I don't even have any bacon. Well, what do I have to put on it? I don't even know what I don't have anything. All I got's extra cheese. I might have a salad. I don't even think I have enough energy to go over to the kitchen and put a frozen pizza in the freezer. But I probably have enough energy to go dump a salad into a bowl. I always get those salad kits. So it's gonna be a bag of lettuce and whatever, I got a Southwest salad in there. I ate my Caesar salads up. Yesterday I got rid of the pre-cooked bacon. That's the last of my pre-cooked bacon forever, hopefully. Except for camping trips. I buy that stuff to put in backpacking. I had a bear canister just for backpacking, and I would keep ready bacon, pre-cooked bacon there, and I would keep pre-cooked bacon in the pantry for long-term storage of food. And because you easily get about 6 months out of some of that. You don't have to refrigerate it. You can just leave it in the box or take it out of the box, throw it in the bear canister. You don't want to take it out of the package that it's packed in because it's sealed, and you don't want, you'll start the countdown of how quick it's going to go bad once you break that seal. But it's great to take that stuff backpacking and camping. But anyway, I don't even have enough energy by the time I'm done shooting this video to go put a frozen pizza in the oven and stand there waiting around for it. I got enough energy to dump some salad in a bowl, and I'll have some extra shredded cheddar cheese to throw on top, and some pepper grinder. That's about it. It's my energy. That's where it's going to be. That's about what I'm going to eat. And after that, I'll see if I got some snacks. That's about it for me, energy-wise. Tomorrow's bicycle. I want to go to church, but I already know that's not going to happen. I'm going to try and dump the videos from the phone to the computer, and that process has gotten ridiculously slow because of the exFAT hard drive that I'm using to dump stuff to right now, until I can figure out when is a good time to pull the trigger and buy a hard drive that I need. So there's that. And that's going to take a minute. That'll take some time tomorrow. You guys have all seen the new place now. The first video in the new place popped up on YouTube last night at 7 p.m. And I've gotten a barrage of cool comments from you guys. And the trolls are nowhere to be found. Imagine that. Whenever something good happens, the trolls disappear. The trolls only show up when you're having a bad day. That fucking bag of shit from Poland or whatever, that fucking retard that shows up on every video to just leave some dumbass comment. He's nowhere to be found ever since I put up that video, huh? But let's see. Oh man, I'm out of it. My mind isn't all there. I'm in a good state of mind. Probation came yesterday. Dude was here for 5 minutes, and he was gone. He just said, keep doing what you're doing. He even said, he's like, yeah, I know it's probably hard to find a job with the charges that you have. People aren't going to want to give you the time of day. He's like, just keep, somebody will. And it's the truth. You know, he would like to see me get a full-time job because it makes his job easier. If I just had a paycheck coming in 40 hours a week, this month, you know, whatever it is, then he can just check, cross it off. Yep, he's doing what he has to do. When I'm doing freelance and shit like that, it makes it harder to, like, because the court order says you must work 30 hours a week. How are we going to define that exactly? Because I'm working productively on all kinds of shit 70 plus hours a week. But I can't just, you know, like, I can't put that on a timesheet and say, yeah, I worked 7. Can I say I put in 40 hours a week on my YouTube channel to make $100 a month? Can I do that? There you go, 30 hours a week. There you go, 30 hours a week on the YouTube channel, on top of the bakery and the freelance and everything else I'm doing. I don't know. He isn't, honestly, he specifically said to me, he said, you're at the bottom of my pile of paper. You know, he's like, you're at the bottom of my pile. He's like, how long have you been living here? I'm like, I sent you a text before I moved, but I moved on the 31st. And I said, and I even filled it out online. You know, there's a change of address thing that you have to fill out when you move. And it's on their website, and you just have to report. And he goes, oh, I got your text. He's like, I know that you moved. He's like, you're at the bottom of my pile, and I just haven't gotten around to coming over until now. And I'm like, if I'm at the bottom of the pile, that's a good place to be. That's better than being on the top of his list where he's got to show up like the fucking Spanish Inquisition. Bam, bam, bam! Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, right? He's not the Spanish Inquisition when he comes over here. He texted me on Wednesday saying, hey, I'm going to stop over on Friday late in the morning. Please be home. Okay. So I got that gives me 48 hours to get all the guns and the weed out of here, and, you know, the fucking weed plants and the crack baggies and the fucking big bags of white powder and all that shit. I can go hide it somewhere. I got 48 hours to do that. And then Friday morning about 10 o'clock, it was like a 10:30, between 10:30 and 11, I get a text message. Hey, I'm on my way. I'll be there in a little bit. So I'm like, all right, everybody, put away the guns, put away put everything away. You know what I mean? Like, if I was on the top of his pile, I'd just be hanging out, doing my thing, and I'd hear boom, 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 boom on the door, and I'd be like, who the fuck is that? Oh, shit, it's probation. Not, I'm giving you a 48-hour notice, and, oh, by the way, I'm letting you know. It's like, that's like what a girlfriend would do. Hey, you still want me to come over on Friday? Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I'll be over there after work on Friday. And then when she leaves work on Friday, hey, I'll be there in about an hour. Just, leave the door unlocked for me. Okay, thanks. Like, I've had girlfriends give me less notice that they're coming over to visit than he gave me. And he's a probation officer, so I think, being at the bottom of the pile is a good place to be. And what else did he say? What the fuck else he also said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said, he looked at me and he goes, you've been filling out your monthly reports, right? So that means that he isn't even looking. He's like, you've been filling out your monthly reports every month, right? So he's got other fucking problems to deal with than the guy who said mean shit on Twitter. I mean, he was kind of... He had to be, you know, scary Johnny Law guy on the first day that I met him, and it was a little bit, you know... He was definitely different than the guy I had to deal with in Buffalo. The guy in Buffalo was a little more laid back. When I came home from prison, he was more of a chill dude. This guy was the guy here in Texas was a little bit more, you know, Walker, Texas Ranger or whatever the fuck. He was a little bit more, you know, by the book. And I'm not saying that was bad. It was just a little bit more, he's not playing. He's not playing. Like, he's not going to be a piece of shit if you know, do what you're supposed to do and stay the fuck out of trouble. And, you know, if he asks you to do something, just fucking do it. And don't, you know, and just get it done and move on. Just keep my shit at the bottom of the pile. That's all I gotta do to get through this fucking ordeal. So, yeah, I'm at the bottom of the pile. That's where I want to stay. In fact, I want to be, you know, I was like, hey, you know, if you stand up for me to get early release, I won't even be in your pile anymore. You'll get, but you know, he'll just get another one. They'll just put another one because the federal government loves to keep people on probation. They love that shit. And all these probation officers, think about it. The average federal probation officer is juggling over 100 cases each. Hundreds of people are on federal probation. I mean, it just doesn't even fucking make any sense. I did 20 fucking months in prison, but I've got to spend 3 years under this guy's thumb. Like, I didn't pay my fucking debt. I did 2 years in prison wasn't enough for some mean tweets. I got to deal with this shit for 3 fucking years on top of that. Like, what the fuck? And what the fuck, the reason why I'm saying what the fuck, and I'm always gonna say what the fuck, I shared a fucking jail cell with a guy who killed somebody. Okay, a guy who fucking got convicted of manslaughter, DUI. Killed a guy. Got 14 months in jail. And the guy who said mean shit on Twitter, 2 fucking years. A guy who killed somebody. Somebody killed another person and got a lighter sentence than me for killing somebody. How the fuck could you live through that? Go ahead and talk all your fucking bullshit in the comments section about how I don't accept responsibility for my crime. And how many times have you seen a comment on my YouTube channel? Look, this guy's a convicted felon. Look, you should all know, look, he's a convicted felon. Look what he did. Yeah, I shared a fucking jail cell with a guy who killed somebody. He killed somebody. And he got 14 months. And I said mean shit on Twitter and I got 2 years in prison. 2 fucking years. For words. I got 2 fucking years in prison for saying words. And another guy killed a person. And he got less time than me. If you lived through that, if you went through that yourself, and you shared a jail cell with a guy who killed somebody, and you were doing a 2-year bid for words, for saying words, you said words, and you went to prison for fucking words, and you shared a cell with a guy who killed another guy, and the guy who killed somebody got less time in prison than you, would you be a little bit fucking pissed? Would you think that was some fucking bullshit right there? You would. Don't tell me you wouldn't. You wouldn't go through that and wake up at the end of the day and say, yeah, I definitely got treated fairly by this benevolent government. They were so fair. I deserved all of that. Yes, absolutely. The guy, the only thing he did was kill somebody. I said bad words. So no, I will never be able to go the rest of my life without thinking I got shit on by these fucking corrupt pieces of shit. Never. No, never. Not when you shared a jail cell with a guy who killed somebody and he went home and you were still in fucking prison because you were doing 2 years. It ain't got, that you can't go through that and not feel the way I do. So we're gonna leave it at that. Let's see. Today. Tomorrow's bicycle maintenance day. I'm not going to church. I want to go to church, but by the time I drag and drop the video files from the phone to the computer, shit, I'm going to lose half of my day right there. I want to try and queue up a few videos to, get caught up on the timeline here. Because after tomorrow, oh my God, after tomorrow, I've got 3 videos lined up to go live tomorrow. And then nothing for Monday. Nothing beyond that. So if I don't think I can do it tomorrow, I'll have to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and launch 1 video per day, and hopefully by Tuesday I can queue up a batch to get all lined up for next week. And I'm hoping that I can just get them all back in sync. I'm not going to be able to do what I was doing homeless, where I shoot a video every morning and then I post it in the afternoon for 115 days straight, or 114 days straight. I'm not going to be able to do it. That's just not possible right now. I can sit in front of the camera for a bit, but that's, if I sit in front of the camera for an hour, that's only part of what I have to do to get this up there. A lot of it just involves opening it up in a piece of software, putting a couple of files together and hitting save, and then walking away and waiting for a fucking bar to go across the screen and get to 100%, and then hit the upload button to YouTube, watch another bar go across the screen until it gets to 100%, and then do a few things to add the finishing touches and schedule it to go live sometime. But it's not like I would say it takes less than an hour of my involvement after I shoot an hour-long video to get it up there, but it takes several hours to get it up there. It just isn't, I have to kind of babysit it and check on it, but I'm not sitting there working for hours. It's more like, drag it, take a bunch of videos, drag them to an interface on YouTube, and then wait until they upload. And that could take an hour to do 5, or it could take 10 hours to do 1. It just depends on how fast YouTube and how fast all the connections are. And that's always hit or miss. You don't really know what's going to happen until you do it. There's no consistency there. But I would like to get my phone or both phones cleared off. And so if I do bicycle maintenance day tomorrow, I've got tripods, I've got a little more room to maneuver in this place. And so I can probably set up a little workspace. I kind of wish that I had kept some of the cardboard boxes from these Amazon orders. I know where I can keep them. So from now on, when I get cardboard boxes from Amazon, I'm going to keep a few of them tucked away somewhere in here. And because cardboard boxes are really good to lay down on the floor if I'm going to start doing bicycle shit. Because I'm going to get oil and grease and stuff on the floor, and, I'm going to get a few things. I'm going to do what I can do to protect the floor here until I get the ultimate solution that I'm thinking of doing. But I got to do bike work tomorrow. Some of it I'll do outside. But I'm just going to use this tripod that I'm using right now to talk to you. I've got another tripod. I've got 2 phones. I've got other cameras. And I'm just going to start getting more of I'm going to start using more of my equipment piece by piece. But I've still got a pile of stuff next to me. I'll take you on a tour Probably not until Tuesday. Whatever I do between now and Tuesday, you'll see I'll just show you the place on Tuesday again. Take you on a little walkthrough. Show you how it's coming together. It's coming together pretty nice. I've got a TV now. I've got some other things figured out. I was showing you the hot water tank. And so I've got multiple ideas for lots of different things, and I'm thinking about getting a backdrop so that when I do YouTube videos from my desk in front of my computer, that it may just be, I may not do them from this lazy boy chair, because I hate this window right here and the lighting is all jacked. And what I'm thinking of doing, so I was talking about in a previous video that I've got ideas for how to do a backdrop. And one of the ideas was getting the folding panel, the rice paper folding panel, room divider panel. They're not cheap. Like nothing I want to do, everything I want to do has an expense related to it. And then I came up with an idea of using a diffusion screen as a backdrop for my videos. But I can use one of those folding rice paper thingamabobs to hide the hot water heater in the bathroom and just make it look like that would be an easy way to hide the hot water heater. I was thinking about that last night. And then somebody mentioned it in the comments today on a video. But I was taking a dump and I'm looking over at the hot water heater and I'm like, one of those rice paper foldable panel things would look good there. And when I want to shoot a video over in the office area, I can just grab it, take it over there, set it up, and have a backdrop that doesn't look bad. And then I can take that and put it back, hide the water heater again. The only drawback to the whole thing is the washing machine that I bought's too big for the space I wanted to put it in. And it doesn't look bad when I turn it 90 degrees and set it there. It's a double-edged sword. I'm kicking myself because if I would have measured the fucking thing, I didn't think to measure it until it had already been shipped. And then I'm like, damn. Because it was only $30 more for the next size up. And it was a significant difference in the volume of clothes that you could wash. And significant enough that $30 seemed like a no-brainer. And so with that part, yes, I can do my laundry a little bit faster because the capacity of this thing is bigger. So it probably saves me a little bit of time on laundry. It allows me to do laundry in 1 or 2 loads instead of 3 or 4 loads. But I would have bought the smaller one if I had measured the space, because I would have realized that the bigger one is 4 inches too wide for how I wanted to put it in there. And the other one would have left me with enough room that one of those rice it would have looked very nice with one of those rice paper folding dividers going around the hot water tank to hide it. There still would have been enough room where that washing machine could sit next to the sink and just look nice. And right now everything in that bathroom looks a little bit cramped and it's kind of and I don't like it, but the trade-off is that the washing machine's bigger. The only thing I could really do about it is figure out if I could probably, it's difficult, but I could probably, there is enough room to move the hot water tank to squeeze it, but it's all super tight tolerances. And so it's like there is the possibility that I could move the hot water tank just a little bit over to the side, because it's all flexible pipes, it's all PEX, flexible tubing. But the drip pan, the pan that catches any leaks that the water heater might, that has a pipe coming out the bottom of it That's the thing that's keeping me from that job being easy to do. It would be easy to do if the hot water tank didn't have any water in it. So I could cut off the water, like instead of draining the tank. I don't know. There's something I could do there, but it's not going to be easy. It's just there's things that can be done. It just sucks. It just sucks, and that's the bottom line. My dumbass should have measured it, and it's not like I can easily just take it back to Amazon or have it. That's not an easy return. So oops. What are you gonna do? There's nothing I can do now. It doesn't look bad. It's just I know how good it could have looked. But like I said, the trade-off is laundry takes less time. I can do a bigger volume of clothes. I'm not going to live in this place forever. So, if anything, I could possibly get one of those room dividers to just wrap around the washing machine and the hot water tank and just hide it all. And just make it, I don't know. I mean, there's something I can do. But there's light switches on the wall that would be blocking. The whole thing's kind of fucked up. It was a dumb decision on my part not to measure that thing. I just assumed it would fit. Because I knew the smaller one would fit. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it was when I went to order it, right when I went to order it, I noticed that there were multiple sizes, and the next size up was only $30 more, and I'm like, huh. And I wasn't in the frame of mind that I was in the frame of mind of, I want to order this thing and get it tomorrow, because I'm looking at a pile of laundry that keeps growing, and I'm like, shit, I got to get this thing now, or I'm just going to be living in filth. So let's get it done. That was my mindset. With the TV, that was another dumb. It was another mistake of not measuring shit before you buy it. But in the end, it was probably the right decision. So I bought a 40-inch HD TV, flat panel, rectangle TV like we have now. It's not a high-end TV, but it's good enough. It's a smart, it's an Android smart TV. Works good enough. It's not high-end. It's 1080p, 60 hertz. No, it's not 60 frames per second. None of that smooth motion. Just none of that high-end shit. It's just the TV. It's good enough. It's perfect for what I need. But I wanted it to fit. I have these 2-wire shelving units. And I bought a bracket, an adjustable arm that clamps to one of the shelf units, the vertical pole. And I thought, okay, I didn't measure it. I didn't look at the measurements. So I wanted the bracket that the TV would bolt to be exactly in the middle of the 2-wire shelf units. I thought that would be the perfect place to mount the TV, having it exactly in the middle of those 2 shelf units. I thought it would look the nicest, and just that would be the perfect place. And when the box came with the TV mount, the box is like this big, and I'm like, shit. There's no fucking way that's... As soon as I saw the box, I knew. I'm like, wait, that's the TV mount? I'm like, son of a bitch. I open up the box and I'm looking. I'm like, damn it. So the TV's off to the side. And now that it's all hooked up, I'm like, it's not that bad. It doesn't look that bad. It's kind of annoying for different reasons, but it's not a total deal breaker. I wouldn't say, it's not a big pain in the ass at this point. It's just a minor annoyance at this point. But then the TV, the mount is rated for up to a 37-inch TV, and this is a 40-inch. and it had a weight limit, and it also had a minimum pole size for the clamp to mount to, and everything. So the TV's bigger than what the bracket calls for in terms of a weight limit by a little bit. I'm assuming that the weight of the TV might be lighter than what the weight of the bracket, the maximum weight that it supports according to the specs, but it's right on the edge. And the clamp itself that clamps to the wire shelf unit, the pole, the vertical pole of the wire shelf unit, is the minimum possible diameter of a tube to clamp that to. If it were even just 2 millimeters less, if the diameter was just 2 millimeters less, that thing would slide up and down the post and you would never be able to tighten it down. It barely works as it is right now, but it works, and it's clamped on and it's solid. It's not going to move. At least it hasn't in the days that it's been there. So I looked at longer TV mounts with a longer arm, and what I noticed right away was that the clamp diameter had to be bigger. The minimum clamp diameter, the minimum post diameter, none of the bigger arms that I found had a minimum clamp diameter that would fit the wire shelf unit. They all needed a bigger diameter post to mount to. And the weight limit for the TV went from a 37-inch TV down to like a 27-inch TV. And the weight limit went down. The longer the arm gets, the lighter the weight has to be, because you're adding more. The longer the arm gets, the more the harder it is to support a heavy weight at the end of the arm. It's just like if you're lifting a weight from your elbow, if you're lifting a heavy weight from your elbow to your hand, it's easier than if you hold your elbow straight and lift from your shoulder. The weight becomes heavier the longer your arm gets. And because the weight is holding a book, holding a dictionary, a unabridged dictionary in your hand with your arm at your side bent at the elbow is easier to hold than if you hold your arm out straight and put that same book in your hand. The book is it's putting more leverage on your arm, and it's not technically heavier, but it's harder for you to lift it, because the longer your arm gets, the heavier the object feels. It's kind of like when you put a breaker bar on a wrench and you stand at the end of the breaker bar and you jam on it, you can get a lug nut unstuck from a wheel because of how long the arm is. The weight of you pushing down becomes more significant the longer the bar gets. So it's the same with the TV mount. And so when I was doing the homework and looking at all that, it was like, well, it looks like I got the right mount, because if I got a longer one, I'd have other problems, because this TV would be too big for it. Maybe it would put too much leverage on the shelf, and like if the wire shelf unit's empty, the TV might make the whole fucking thing tip over. So it's not centered. And so another thing you could do would be, move the shelves closer together and then center it. But I have storage bins in between the shelf units, stacked. And so I don't want to put the shelf units closer together, because that's where I want to keep those tubs. I had some fucking troll. It wasn't a troll, so to speak, but one of the people on the comments section was like, you're not supposed to rent out a place that doesn't have closets. Like, like, you're not allowed to rent out a place that doesn't have any closets or something like that. It's like, dude, this is Texas. I don't know what fucking state you live in, but you can put a cardboard box in your backyard, run a fucking extension cord out to it, and put a battery powered tap light or something in the fucking, tape it to the top of the box, and you can call that an apartment and rent it out for $600 a month if that's what you want to do. There's no fucking rules here. I don't know, maybe you live in a fucking Democrat ridden shithole where one of the benefits of living in a Democrat filled shithole is that there are rules when it comes to properties that you can rent out. Like in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, in order for it to be called a bedroom, like if you're listing a property as a 3-bedroom house, in order for it to be called a bedroom, I don't think it needs to have a closet, but it has to have its own door, and it has to be a room with its own door. You can't call the living room a bedroom. If it's a wide open living room, with no door going into it or whatever, you can't just call, like here in Texas, they'll call a fucking place a 1-bedroom apartment if it has a kitchen and a living room. And if they could call that tiny fucking shithole I lived in a 2-bedroom unit because it had that little storage gap up in the loft up there. Like, that, you can just make up shit down here. Like, people rent out campers, like pop-up campers, for a monthly rent. You can park a fucking 5th-wheel camper in your driveway and run a fucking extension cord to it from your house, and you can rent it out as a fucking apartment. You can call it a fucking apartment. I mean, if you don't believe me, go to Houston on Facebook, Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever, and look at this shit. Look at the shit that's listed for rent. It'll blow your fucking mind. It blows my mind, because this shit wouldn't fly in other places I've lived. This wouldn't fly in Jamestown, New York. It wouldn't fly in Pittsburgh. Not the shit that I see here. You wouldn't be able to just rent out a fucking camper parked in your yard in Pittsburgh and call it a fucking apartment. That fucking city would come down on you fast. They would come down on you hard. They wouldn't let you do it. I guarantee you they wouldn't let you do it. You'd never see that. You'd never see that. Now, you could do it on the DL. You could probably rent something out like that to somebody as like a friend, or, as a favor, or, if you have a camper, you could park it somewhere. You could work that kind of a thing out on a personal level, and they're not going to bother you about it. But you can't just go list it in the public listings without the city's going to find you. The city's going to come down on you. Guaranteed. You'd never see that shit. You'd never see that in Pittsburgh. You'd never see that in New York. Never. Show me an ad like that. These tiny houses, you can rent a tiny house, but there's a whole bunch of rules you have to follow in a place like that. Here in Texas, it's a fucking free-for-all. It's a fucking free-for-all. And the reason why is because you got, how many illegal immigrants did Joe Biden let into the fucking country, and where do most of them go? Texas, California, the border states. Do you think an illegal immigrant's going to bitch to the government that they're living in a tool shed like I was with no hot water? Donde está agua? Hot agua. I don't remember. Caliente. Donde está agua caliente? Right? Where is the hot water? They're not going to be calling up the fucking government. No papers. Donde está agua caliente? No agua caliente. They're not going to be calling the constable, or they're not going to be going to court to complain about living in a cardboard box in someone's backyard that a guy ran an extension cord to. That's why they get away with this shit here. Texas don't give a fuck. Republican states like Texas don't give a fuck about people who don't have money. That's one of the drawbacks of living in a Republican state. You'll have more freedom, you'll be able to run around with your guns, and you'll be able to, there'll be certain benefits that you get from being in a Republican state. But when you don't have a lot of money, they don't give a fuck about you. You can go fuck off and die. There's no public assistance. If you try to get food stamps in Texas, that's probably going to take 6 months, and they're hoping that you starve to death before they got to give you food. They're just going to run out that fucking clock and hope that you just die from not being able to eat. Or you pack your bags and drive up to New York where you can get food stamps the day you apply. You know what I'm saying? Like in Texas, they would just rather you starve to death. Let's see. Well, if we don't give these motherfuckers, when you sign up for food stamps, if they make you wait 6 months to get them, well, half the people that signed up are going to starve to death, and we won't have to fucking give them the money, will we? Huh? It's a win-win for everybody. Yeehaw! Yeehaw, right? That's how Texas, we're a great state of Texas, right? That's how it works in a Republican state. In a Democrat shithole, you can be an illegal immigrant, walk in. If you're an illegal immigrant in New York, you're living at the Waldorf Astoria, you get a fucking food stamp card loaded up with about $20,000 on it. The whole time I was homeless, I think I made about $2,000 in food stamps. The whole fucking time I was homeless. But if I was a homeless illegal immigrant who came into the country illegally, they would have put me up at the Waldorf Astoria in Manhattan with a $20,000 food stamp card right on day one, and I would have probably got $10,000 a month in fucking public assistance. But if you're a broke ass American citizen living in New York, you're getting the $200 a month in food stamps, and you're getting like $50 a week in public assistance. But you'll get the food stamps. When I signed up for public assistance, I had a food stamp card handed to me right there. And they said it'll probably be active tomorrow, and the next day when I went and checked the balance, it had like $400 on it. Like, they gave me an entire month's worth of food stamps in one shot. Just boom, here you go, $400. Eat up. EBT, eat better today. 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 I had to wait less than 24 hours. I had enough cash to eat that day, but that was Friday. On Saturday, eat better today applied today. I was eating better today. Here in Texas, that's like eat better tomorrow. Probably not even tomorrow. It's probably going to be 6 months before you get a letter saying that you've been rejected, but you can appeal. Right? You're not getting your fucking government assistance here. They don't want to help you. If you're poor, fuck you. That's Texas. If you ride a bicycle for transportation, go fuck yourself and die. If you walk, fuck you, die. Piece of shit. Fuck you. We're not gonna put in a fucking sidewalk, or we're not putting shoulders on the road, you pedestrian sack of shit. Fuck you. If you don't drive to your next door neighbor's house, fuck you. That's Texas. That's Texas right there. Fuck, man, you'd think Texas would be friendly to people who ride a horse to get around. Fucking cowboy. Everybody's walking around in a fucking cowboy hat and a big old belt buckle and cowboy boots. And at the fucking, the plaza where the bakery is, the security guards ride horses around the parking lot. But it's for decoration. It's like, oh, we're in Texas, we're riding a horse. Yeah. Fuck you. It's like Paul Blart, the mall cop, instead of riding on a fucking Segway, they're riding a horse. But it's for the tourists. It's in the woodlands, so it's for all the fancy fucking people to go, look, the security guards are on horses, cause we're in Texas. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! This fucking place is stupid. I hate Texas. Overall, I kind of hate Texas. I think this place is fucking dumb. The weather's nice. There was something else I came up with that I like about Texas the other day, and I was going to share it with you all, and I already forgot. Because Texas fucking sucks. I think this place is fucking stupid. I mean, every state, everywhere you live in America is going to have something that sucks about it. Pittsburgh is my home. That's where I like Pittsburgh a lot. But there's a lot of shit that sucks about Pittsburgh. There's a lot of stuff that sucks about Pennsylvania. But, someday I'll go back. Maybe. I honestly, I have no fucking idea how this is gonna go. But that's just my rant for today. I'm already starting to. I know I'm gonna have a hard time standing up. I might just go soak in the bathtub. I scrubbed that thing yesterday. I finally got the soft scrub. I sat there scrubbing the shit out of that thing. It looks a hell of a lot cleaner now, but it's gonna take, I'd say, like 5 or 6 more times of elbow grease before it looks like brand new again. I might need to get different cleaners and different brushes and stuff, get up in there and just scrub, but eventually that thing's gonna, it looks better now. It looks acceptably clean, like you'd see a video of it today and be like, oh, that looks so much better, dude. But if I really want it to pop and be like nice, like, it's gonna take some more work. But it's worth it. Bakery was chill today. It's been good for a while. It's a nice chill place. I'm a little nervous because there's a lot of people out, and the manager asked me if I would work a little bit next week, and she wants to give me some extra shifts, but she said she'd text me and let me know, like, we could talk about it before she just hands it to me. And I said, yeah, but can we, I don't want to work after dark and have to ride home at night. Even though I ride in the morning, and it's pitch black in the morning, up until the as we got into the summer. We haven't hit the summer solstice yet, but once we got into like mid-March, after daylight savings time flipped, we got fucked a little bit in the morning. But after, at some point, it's light at 6:30 when I leave, and I don't mind riding in the dark in the mornings as much as the night. Like at night, like 11 o'clock at night, that would suck balls. But people are going to be more aggressive and more drunk at 11 o'clock at night around here than at 6 in the morning. So let's see. But I also don't want to go on a 40-mile bike ride to work a 4-hour or a 3-hour shift. Like, I was just wondering if you could come in for a few hours on Wednesday. Like, really, I gotta ride 40 miles just to make like 40 bucks. Like, fuck. I'll lose a whole day of my life plus 40 miles of biking. The next day I'm gonna feel like shit. So it fucks with me. But whatever. I said I would do it because I like the people I work with, and I don't want them to be screwed. Like, I don't want her to have to work ridiculous amount of hours because she can't get anybody to come in. Like, I'll come in. I'm an employee, you know what I mean? I'm a part-time guy, but I'll do it to help out. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been there a while, so I'm not I could be a shift leader, or I could be one of the people that helps run the place at this point because I've been there enough and I'm a big boy. I know how to handle my shit, but I'm not the distance and the amount of days. I don't want to work full time there, and so they get that. They're fine. Nobody's mad about that. So it's kind of like. You know what I mean? When I'm there, they know I know how to do everything there. but I'm not like an official in charge guy. But they could have me come in and just be like, hey, I want to go home. I don't want to work 13 hours tomorrow. You want to come in for a few hours so I can go home? Yeah, sure. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, I'm cool with it. I mean, I am, but I'm not. But I'm like, I like the people I work with, so I'll do that. It's more about that than the money, honestly. Because to ride a bicycle 40 miles to work like 3 or 4 hours, we'll talk tomorrow and hopefully work something out that works for everybody. And because if I'm gonna ride all the way in there, may as well work 8 hours. But this manager is actually really good at, giving people consistent hours and consistent days and kind of like not just randomly making up a schedule that's totally different from one week to the next. She's done a very good job of getting people a regular thing that works, whatever works for you, she'll work with it. So I appreciate that. And so, yeah, I'm cool with coming in. But it's going to take away my freelance time and some energy, but whatever. It might work out. Like, I'll get a bigger paycheck out of it at the end of the month, and that might help when it comes to paying. I got to pay rent plus half of a security deposit. That's a fucking bill. That's a big one. And so my spending for the month is pretty much done. I did what I could. The probation officer, he looks over at my cot. He's like, I thought you'd have had a bed by now, dog. I'm like, come on. I'm like, yeah, I thought so too. But you saw where I was living. I couldn't fit a bed in there. I wasn't going to fucking... That cot actually gave me more space in my place. And I'm not getting when I do get a bed, I'm getting a full-size bed. I'm not getting a queen or a king. But I'm not getting a fucking little kid's bed either. I'm getting a fucking bed. So, if it was like a cottage, if it was a fucking camp or something like that, fine, I'll get a twin or whatever it is, like a little kid's bed. But I'm a fucking grown man. I'm not sleeping on I'm not sleeping on the same size bed I had at the homeless shelter. I'm getting a real fucking bed. A full-size bed will be fine. It's the right size. It's not it's the perfect size for the space that it's gonna fit. It'll fit just fine, and I'll still be able to put a love seat right in front of the TV that's perfectly centered, theater style. I'll still be able to do what I want to do, even though the TV does. I can switch the clamp to the if the TV needs to move over. I can switch the clamp that it mounts to the other wire shelf unit, and that'll move the TV this way if that's what I have to do to have it all centered and perfect. But so I have a vision of how everything's going to go together in this place and how I want to design my space. But when it's done, it won't be exactly what I thought. Like, a design project never goes exactly how you thought it was going to go. A website, a menu, print, photographs, a photo editing a photograph. I have a vision for what I want to do to it. It never comes out exactly the way I thought it would. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just as good as I thought, but different. But when you design something, you have a vision in mind, but 9 times out of 10, it doesn't come out the way you envisioned it when you're done with it. And that's fine. Sometimes it comes out better. You just have to kind of let these things work themselves out. The next priority, there's so many random things. People are like, the guy got the chicken. Somebody, I don't know who, mentioned the Amazon registry. Like, if you're having a wedding or a baby shower or whatever, Amazon does have a registry that you can sign up for, and you can just fill it with a bunch of shit you want, and people can buy it for you. So maybe I'll put a link to my Amazon housewarming registry or whatever. And so, like, if, I'm not begging for money. Like, if you don't, just watching the video and showing up to the channel, leaving comments, all that stuff, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But there are people that help out. And, maybe you're getting something in return, the entertainment value, whatever it is. I see rich people doing YouTube videos begging for money. I see rich, we got a fucking pastor down here in Houston with this giant fucking mega church. What's his name? Joel Osteen. The 40,000 seat mega church stadium. He's up there begging for money every fucking Sunday. And that motherfucker's flying around in a private jet. He's got a dozen mansions. Who knows how many mansions that guy owns, and that dude's rolling in dough. And he's still getting up there begging for money every Sunday. Pat Robertson, the 700 Club dickbag, he's fucking begging for money if he's still alive, he's begging for money every Sunday morning. And he's got a private jet and a bunch of mansions and hookers and blow and all that shit. And they're doing it in the name of Jesus. So I guess, the Bike Farmer guy. I watched the channel Bike Farmer. He puts up videos of him working on bikes, and he shows you different things on fixing bikes, but he also just talks about a bunch of random crap while he's fixing the bikes. And I don't know, I get a kick out of watching him. He's a cool dude. I love that guy. Every video that he shoots, he has like a pre-recorded segment where he goes, he begs for money, and he just wants to eat tacos. He just like, if you can throw me $5 so I can eat a taco today. Like, it's fucking hilarious. But he even says, he's like, just watching the videos is enough. I'm not trying to make you feel bad if you don't want to throw a few bones in the bucket. But if you will, I'll eat a taco thanks to you. It's like you watch PBS and you're trying to watch some show on. You're trying to like put Sesame Street on so that you can put your kid in front of the TV and go off and do something in the kitchen, and they stop Sesame Street in the middle of the show and they're like begging for money and the phones are ringing and all this. If you want to be able to watch Sesame Street, we need money. And it's like, didn't we just find out from Elon Musk that PBS gets like $1 billion from the fucking government every month, and like they still need money for Sesame Street? Like they were fucking sending money over to the Middle East so the Middle Eastern kids could watch Sesame Street, like $10 billion or some shit like that. But they're still begging for money from you. So why the fuck not? I got a chicken bucket. Donate.litgood.com, and I'll put up a fucking Amazon wish list or whatever the hell they call it. And the funny thing is, it's like, you might think, okay, Adam's just taking all that money and spending it on hookers and blow and happy endings at the Asian massage parlor down the street and shit like that. But what really happens, people might think, oh, $10, what are you going to do with $10? Well, I'll make an Amazon registry and you'll find out. Like, what do I need that would cost $10? I don't know. I got like 50 different things for the kitchen that I don't have cooking that probably cost about $10. I bought a knife sharpener a couple of weeks ago. It cost $15. I bought some rags that I was supposed to use to clean off my cast iron cookware, and turns out they're synthetic. So I must have some freaking plastic embedded in one of my pans now, because my pan was hot like it's supposed to be when you do your daily maintenance seasoning. And when I pulled the rag up, I looked and I'm like, it's melted. And I'm like, how much of this plastic is in my damn pan now? I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. It'll just work itself out as I'll just be eating plastic I'll have a few plastic cheeseburgers, I guess, and some plastic bacon until that shit gets scraped out with a spatula. Hopefully it's microscopic, and you're drinking out of a plastic bottle, and that shit's leaking into the water that I drink. So, I'm sure, I ate at Burger King. How much plastic did I eat when I went to Burger King and wolfed down a bunch of cheeseburgers? I'm sure the cheese is like 10% plastic there. So, whatever at this point. But the rags, the 100% cotton waffle pattern rags are like $12. I've got those on my saved for later cart. I'm probably gonna order those tomorrow. I don't think tonight, but I'm gonna start cooking bacon tomorrow to get this pan that I don't use as much. I'm gonna get that thing starting to season good with some bacon grease, and I'm gonna cook a whole pack of bacon in there, and then I'm gonna pour the grease into a jar, and then I'm gonna use that bacon grease to season this other pan that needs to be like redone. But I got to get some steel wool, and I got to get some other steel wool and some Easy Off to get that process going. The oven cleaner and steel wool will get that pan down to the bare metal, and then I'll just give it a coat of bacon grease, throw it in the oven at 450 upside down, and just open a window and have a fan blasting out until when the oven stops pouring out smoke, then the pan's ready to go. Like 100% cotton rags. I can't even think of all the random shit that I come up with for the kitchen alone. Spoon rest. Different random things for the kitchen that are like basic kitchen things that I don't even have anymore. I do have a camping box in Pittsburgh that I didn't bring with me. That's a complete camping kitchen, and it's like a toolbox with a drawer. It's complete. If I had brought that with me, I would not have had to go to Target a bunch of times and get random stuff for the kitchen. That box would have had pretty much, there wasn't much I couldn't cook at a campsite. Lot of stuff in that box. But that's up in Pittsburgh now. I don't know when and if I'm ever going to get that. But just to be able to cook some basic things, I'm like, well, I can't do that because I don't have this, and I can't do that because of this and that, and that. And just all kind of like, well, when you get around to it. So those are the kinds of things that like $10. Well, now, oh wow, I can get those rags. I can do that. I can do this other thing or whatever. It all helps big time. And everybody who has helped out, people have helped out. Somebody helped out the other day, and I sent an email, and we had a little conversation through email, and that was cool. What was it, like $20? I don't remember, but it was like, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome when it showed up, because that covered some random thing that I bought on Amazon for the new place. I mean, that covered my TV clamp thing mount. At least $20 of the $25 it cost. So like, all kinds of random shit. I gotta get a freaking extension cord for my washing machine. I gotta get a wall outlet tester at Home Depot, or they have them on Amazon, whatever. I gotta get a wall outlet tester, just the cheap one, to make sure that these wall outlets that are covered up actually have a live wire. And if they do, that means that the outlet that's in them is bad, and I can swap that out for a nice outlet and put the right cover on, and it only takes 5 minutes to do. But then I'll have a wall outlet to plug my TV and anything on that side of the room. Right now I don't have any power outlets on that side of the room. And it sucks because there's a few things that I want to plug in over there, and there's 2 outlets that are just covered up. And I think that it was just the landlord was lazy and was like, fuck it, we'll just put a cover on them. Instead of putting an outlet in there that worked. But my opinion is I can't see why those wouldn't be live and hooked up. But just a bad outlet. I didn't even take the cover off the other one to see if the outlet's good. But a tester will tell me right away if there's power going to that receptacle. And if there is, well shit, it's on. I'm gonna put a fucking outlet in there and use it. And then, when I leave, I'll be like, oh yeah, I fixed your fucking outlets for you. And if the place burns down, whoops. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I just think it's a matter of there were 2 outlets that they figured they plugged something in and it didn't work, and they're like, I'll just cover it up instead of replacing the fucking outlet. But I'll test it before I do that and make sure that it's doable. Before I go and waste any more time. But that's another thing I gotta do. Because I don't want a ghetto-ass extension cord going into another room or going along the ceiling and down the other side of the room to plug into some outlet on this side of the room or any of that dumbass art student apartment bullshit. I don't want that. Whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do, but I'd like to keep it. I want this place to be nice. It's not, this isn't the best place I've ever lived, but I want to have a home at this point. I lived in a fucking tool shed for 4 months. So, I think I was homeless. I lived in a friend's house and I lived in a tool shed at that point. And then so now I'm on it. I want a fucking place that feels comfortable and feels like a home. And then we'll go from there, whatever, come what may. So let's see, nothing else to really talk about today. This is a chill day. I dropped another little cool test at the job at the bakery. I'm always on the Bob Saget scale from, Bob Saget, Full House, America's Dad, America's Funniest Home Videos, clean cut. I don't think he would ever say a swear word, to a level 5 Bob Saget where he's showing up in the movie Half Baked, standing up in a crowd saying to Dave Chappelle, I used to suck dick for crack. Did you ever suck dick for some marijuana? And you're like, wait a minute, that's Bob Saget? Ah! And then Bob Saget on HBO doing stand-up to where you're like, what in the fuck did I just watch? Like, I gotta go take a shower after seeing Bob Saget. Dude, what the fuck was that, Bob Saget? Like, that's a level 10 Bob Saget. So, on the Bob Saget scale at the bakery, the highest I've ever been is like maybe a 3, maybe a 4. Maybe. Now, I'd say maybe a 4 to the right people. Where I could go level 4 Bob Saget, but I've never even gone halfway up the ladder in terms of like dropping a cool test to see how far can you go? How far up the ladder can I go before I've gone too far and I'm at like level 10? Like, I don't know, have you ever been sitting around the campfire with your friends or just having a conversation with the people that you, like, your best friends in the world, the people that you can say anything to and they're just gonna laugh, and it's like, it don't matter how raunchy it is and how much you swear, and like whatever comes out of your mouth, they know that you're harmless or whatever, and it's all fun, and we're all just laughing and having a good time, and then you say something, and all of a sudden, everybody stops laughing, and they're like, dude, Adam, what the fuck? Dude, what the... Adam, you went too fucking far. That's what... Adam, what the fuck, dude? And I'm like... And I'm just sitting here going, I thought we were having a good time. What the fuck? Everybody's talking shit about what? But Adam, what the fuck, dude? What made you think of that? Like, yeah, everything was funny up until that. What? Like, where the fuck did that come from, dude? That's when you know you've gone to, like, level 8, 9, or even 10 on the Bob Saget scale of offensive speech. If you're at a level 1, that's like a job interview. Like you're Bob Saget, Full House, like just America's Dad, America's Funniest Home Videos. You got it, dude. Just that's it. That's the funniest thing. That's the Dave Coulier. Well, blow me down. Or whatever, Bullwinkle. Right? That's the farthest you can go. Right? Level 1, level 2. You're not talking about sucking dick for crack at a job interview, right? But around your friends at the campfire, when we watched Half Baked and we saw Bob Saget talk about sucking dick for coke or crack or whatever he was sucking dick for, we're like, oh my God, that's Bob Saget! We had to hit pause on the movie because we had tears coming out our eyes. That shit was like the funniest thing we'd ever seen. But then we watched Bob Saget on HBO and we're like, oh, this is going to be great because look how funny he was in Half Baked. And you watch it and you're just like, what the fuck was that? Like nobody laughed. We all watched this guy on HBO and we're like, nobody laughed. Nothing, it was like, we're just sitting there in shock and we couldn't even like turn it off. Because it was like watching a train wreck. Like, it was like 9/11, watching the fucking plane hit the tower over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, we've seen the plane hit the tower 150 times in the last hour, but I guess we're going to watch it for another hour, because what else are we going to watch today? That's what it was like watching Bob Saget stand up on a fucking stage on HBO doing the stand-up routine, and at the end of it, you're just like, dude, what the fuck was that? So that's the bottom of the Bob Saget scale of offensive speech and the top. And there's, all that middle ground. So at the bakery today, I'm still at like, the highest I can go there is about a level 3, a level 4. And that's only around the right people. So we had this big giant bowl of pudding. And it had to be put away in it had to be in piping bags, I think. And so this one girl comes up to me and she's like, what do you want me to do with all this pudding? And I'm like, what the fuck do I look like, Bill Cosby? And she starts laughing. She's like, yeah. And now I'm like, shit, I don't even know how to take that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, man, all these kids, these young kids, these like 18, 19, 20-year-old girls. It's like, yeah, they all know Bill Cosby's like this rapey guy, but I didn't know that they all knew that he's also associated with pudding and pudding pops and Jell-O and all that shit. Like, yeah, Gen X, we grew up with Bill Cosby. We had picture pages, and we had Fat Albert, and we had The Cosby Show, and the Cosby Kids, and Bill Cosby was everywhere, and then the pudding pops, and pudding, and Jell-O pudding, and the Jell-O fucking, and Jell-O commercials. Bill Cosby with and the pudding pops, and the, right? And, the pudding pops, and, right? But, the only thing these young girls, these young kids know about is Bill Cosby is roofied a bunch of girls and raped them and went to prison. But they didn't grow up with Fat Albert and the picture pages and the Cosby Show and all that shit like we did. So I was like kind of surprised. On one hand, I'm like, it was a cool test, and it was like, I'm cool. It was cool. It went smooth. So I could drop a Bill Cosby date rape joke and around a bunch of girls, and it was like, ah ha ha ha. But they did say, she did say, well, yeah. I said, what do you think I am, Bill Cosby? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, well, I don't really know how to take that. But we'll just, we'll leave it there. We'll talk about that another day. But that was the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do. What do you think I am, Bill Cosby? I don't know what to do with all that pudding. Try putting it over there. I don't fucking know. But that's, we have fun. We have a good time there, and that's why I don't mind working at the bakery, because there are some places there's places you could work where you could say that joke and all of a sudden find yourself in the fucking human resources office getting a fucking performance improvement plan or some shit like that on your way out the fucking door, or getting your fucking severance check or whatever they do when they're letting you go. So it's not like that there. I can make a Bill Cosby joke with the pudding, but I was surprised that these kids know enough about history to know that Bill Cosby was not just the rapey, roofied a bunch of girls and raped them guy, but that he also was the pudding guy back in the day. And that was probably, I don't even know if they were born when he was doing pudding commercials. So I don't know, they're informed. These kids are well informed, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool to know. So it's good to know for the future. But yeah, I'm an hour and 20 something minutes into this video, and that's really all I got to talk about today. Tomorrow I want to clear off the phones so that I have some camera space, and I'll try to document what I'm doing with the bicycles, and just kind of do my own version of what the bike farmer guy does, but in my own twisted way, or whatever the fuck it is, and just kind of walk through. I'm just going to do some quick tune-ups on the bikes, and maybe I'll get into the basics, even though my bikes really don't need any specific work done to them. I'll just talk about what I'm doing and why, and it's mostly just cleanup, truing a wheel. I don't really know. It's not a lot. It's mostly cleaning and just tweaking and chain lubrication and stuff like that. Just basics maintenance. My Specialized, the Silver Bullet, feels like it needs. I'm having a chain issue where it could be I don't really know what it is. It probably just needs lubricated. A clean bike is a happy bike. That's the way I'm going to put it. So maybe I'll just, show you how I'm going to clean my bikes, and we'll talk about that. Whatever I do, and maybe I'll make a bike maintenance playlist or something like that, and as I need to. But my bikes really don't get out of adjustment that much, so I'm not going to be adjusting my gears. I haven't had to adjust my derailleurs, my gears, and shit like that for years. Because once you get them dialed in, they're usually good to go. Once the cables are stretched out and solid, I haven't had problems with that. So it's hard to. The best way for me to show you how to do all that would be to find another bike that's a train wreck, and a bike that I have to build from the ground up, or just strip down to the frame and build back up to make it right. Like a project bike would be something I could show you guys how to do that kind of stuff. And maybe I'll do the whole maybe I'll figure out how to start doing the whole bikes for the homeless thing, and maybe I'll find a bike worthy of building. Maybe I can find a connection by going to church. I don't know. I got all these ideas. I could start my own little bike business or whatever, but it would also be cool to just find bikes to fix up and give to the homeless. But it would be cool if people would donate bikes for that purpose, And like the funny thing is if I would do that instead of like starting a bicycle buying and selling in a bike flipping business or whatever, and I would be on my own. But if I started going around saying, "Hey, I want to get bikes and donate them to the homeless," I think people would just jump on board and like say, "Oh, you can come use our shop. You can do all your work in our bike shop," and and then people would just start donating bikes. And I think something like that, you talk to the right people, and all of a sudden, it would just happen. God would make it happen if that's what He wants me to do. So I don't know. That might be a cool thing to do. And I'm feeling like I could, I'm not quite there yet. I don't even have the right tools to work on everything. But like I said, all I gotta do is say something to the right person and make a connection somewhere, and all of a sudden things will just fall into place. I have the knowledge and the skills to do it all day long. The labor is nothing. Time. It's time. That's all it is. Like any kind of bike that's going to be the kind of bike that you would donate to people in need is going to be a bike that I would have absolutely no problem working on, stripping down to the bare frame and back up. Like there's not a single part on a bike like that I would not have expertise on how to fix and how to do it. The only bikes that I would have a problem with in terms of having to learn something new are like today's modern high-end racing bikes. I did get into a bike race today. That's another random thing. I got on the Spring Creek Greenway, and there was a dude in front of me, up just a little bit up ahead of me, on a full-on, specialized S-Works carbon fiber, tricked-out road bike, hydraulic disc brakes. He had a wireless electronic derailleur system. I could tell that his rear derailleur was a wireless electronic derailleur, so it's getting like some sort of fucking Bluetooth signal when you push a button on the handlebars to shift up and down. So it's a bike you have to charge. You have to plug it into a USB port to keep the battery charged or whatever. But it's a full carbon fiber frame, and so anyway, I passed this guy. I go flying by him. I'm like, "See ya, bitch." And I'm like, I thought I had him. But I'm like, come on. I'm like, this guy's probably just taking a break. But sure enough, I pass him, and I'm like pushing down the trail. And every time I keep looking behind me, but I'm trying not to look like I'm looking behind me. And every time I turn my head and glance, I'm like, fuck, he's right there. He's not riding my back wheel like a best friend would in a pace line, but he was about, 5 feet, 10 feet behind me, just staying in my draft the whole time. I couldn't shake him, and I'm like, fuck. So finally, at some point, he passes me, even though I wasn't letting him, but I wasn't trying to like huff and puff either. I was trying. He passed me, and we were like, "Hey, how's it going? Not bad. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah." One of those. And he goes by me, and so I'm staying on his back wheel. 5 feet, no more than 10 feet, and I'm just staying with him. He starts to pull away a little bit, and I'm like, well, I'll get him on the hill climb that's coming up. And, Houston doesn't really have hills, but there's this part where for about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, or whatever, you go up this rise, and it takes you up. It's a hill. I guess it's a hill. You could call it a hill. It's the closest thing to a hill you're going to find in Houston. And so we get there, and I decide to shift into a bigger gear and stand up out of the seat and try mashing the pedals to push myself up this hill. And he stays in the saddle and just spins. He shifts to an easier gear, and he's just spinning really fast. I should have spun up to the top of the hill in a seated climb instead of trying to mash my way up the hill, because he pulled away from me up the hill, and I'm like, fuck. Because I felt, granted, the dude's on a fucking bicycle that probably costs $5,000 to $10,000, and he's all decked out in his road racing. Lance, like he looked like he was about to go to the Tour de France, you know what I'm saying? And here I am in regular fucking shorts and a heavy backpack, obviously on my way to work or whatever. We're not in the same club. And my bicycle's 2003 Specialized. I'm rocking 700 by 23s. He's looking at when you're bike people, when you're coming up on another biker, he's eyeing my bike up and down just as much as I was eyeing his bike up and down. He's probably talking about it with his friends. Yeah, I passed this fucking guy today. He's rocking fucking 23s. When's the last time you saw those? Ha ha ha! Because now the trend in road bikes is to have these big, fat, wide tires with tubeless rims, with no inner tubes. And they say it's obviously faster, because he was faster than me today. But I'm rocking 700 by 23s on that road bike, which are the thinnest fucking tires that you can still buy. So I got the thinnest possible tires, all cranked up to 110 psi, and which is old. Like, that's how we used to do it back in the day, but now everything's different. Because now the trendy thing to do is to have big wide tires that are like 28s at the narrowest, maybe 32s at the wide. Normally like 28s to 32s tubeless, running low pressure. But he was kicking my ass, so what am I going to do? But anyway, he was looking at my tire size for sure, because you don't see a lot of people riding super skinny tires anymore on road bikes. And, he's looking at, took a whole assessment of my bike as he passed me, just like I did with him. He was looking at my handlebars and seeing that I have a brake lever on top of my handlebars along with the standard brake levers. And, he's got a carbon fiber fork, but big old aluminum frame, but it looks like a commuter bike. It looks like a touring bike, but it's also a I haven't seen one of those since 2003. Yeah, it's because that's how old it is. So it was kind of fun to get in a race with this guy. It actually gave me a personal best for some of the stretches that I was riding with him, because I was pushing myself harder than I normally do, and it resulted in me getting a fast time. So it was fun. It's a little bit different when you're racing somebody that's on a fucking bicycle that costs more than I wouldn't even be able to afford a car that costs $10,000, let alone a fucking bicycle that costs that much. It's a lot different racing that guy than the couple weeks ago when I got into the race with the guy on the tricycle. But I was not gonna fucking get beat by a guy on a fucking tricycle, and if I did, I wouldn't have told you about it, because it would have been too embarrassing. So, one other weird... Well, I'm just going to leave... I'll leave the other thing for another day, because there is another funny story that just popped into my head about today, but it's something down the road. It's not going anywhere, but it's an hour and a half. The sun's going down. The lights changed quite a bit while I'm sitting here. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go get a salad, and I'm going to veg out. I'm gonna watch some. I'm watching some Star Wars shows. I'm watching the entire Star Wars cinematic universe or whatever. Like everything that has ever been made, Star Wars. All the TV shows, the movies, and the animated series that aren't for little kids. There's a bunch of crap that's like made for they're like a bunch of dumbass cartoons, like Saturday morning cartoon shit, and stuff that's made for like preschoolers, and stuff that's like made for like Saturday morning cartoon shit for the kids that are like that's specifically canon material. But I'm not watching any of that shit. But the 3D animated stuff, that's actually decent, and it's well done. It's not the animation is and the 3D modeling is so good that you can almost pretend that it's real live action people. So I'm watching all of that stuff. I have a list. There's websites you can fucking go to. It puts episodes of different shows out of the order of the series. So it starts out with The Acolyte, which is a terrible show. This is the second time I've watched that series, but it changes the order of which you watch the episodes to put them in chronological order according to the Star Wars timeline. And it actually made the show better. It was kind of funny. When you watch it in chronological order instead of the order that they made the show, that you put the episodes out of order and watch them in chronological order instead, it's a better show. And the second time that you watch something like that, you'll pick up... I picked up all kinds of different random things by watching it a second time, and I'm like, oh yeah, what about that? I never even noticed that. But it's not a good show, but it's the first, so I finished that series, and so I'm just watching everything. There's over 400 things, specific episodes, or things to watch. There's over 400 things on this list. I don't know the exact number. I'll look it up as I talk about it more. But before I go, I think I'll talk about Star Wars, like some of the things that I pick up on that relate to, because I'm always using quotes from Yoda, right? When I'm talking about, let me see here. When I'm talking about like relating to the world and things like that, I talk about things that Yoda said. And I talk about things in Star Wars and how it relates to our lives. And in The Acolyte, there were a couple of quotes that popped up this week that I thought had meaning enough to share as in part of the video. And one of them, I got to think about this because my brain dead. One of them was a quote that one of the Jedi said, that you're not defined by like what you have or what you've done or whatever. You're not defined by what you've done, what you have, and all that kind of stuff. What defines you is what you're able to overcome. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I'd have to go back and watch that terrible show again to find the quote and make it exact, but what you've done in the past does not define you. It's what you overcome that defines you. So that relates to me very much because, how many times do you see in the comments on my YouTube videos, oh, this guy's a convicted felon. Why are you watching him? He's a convicted felon. Okay, so what's your fucking point, douchebag? You're a piece of shit and people are looking at your comment, so... Oh, he's a felon! He's a felon! He's a convicted felon! Look, he's a convicted felon! So that's, in some people's opinion, that's all I am. That's all I am. For the rest of my life, there are going to be people out there who define me as nothing more than, oh, he's a convicted felon! That's it. He's a convicted felon. Don't talk to him. Don't have anything to do with him. He's a convicted felon. And that's all you're ever going to be to some people. But that's not what defines me at all. People make mistakes. There are lots of people out there. Tim Allen, the host, the host of Tool Time, and Home Improvement, and many other shows and stand-up comedy and all the movies he's been in and everything. He's like, the wholesome all-American guy who's funny, but he's clean, and he's a clean, funny guy. He's a convicted felon. He was a fucking drug runner, and he went to prison. And then he became, Tim Allen, the celebrity, the clean cut. How many people know that Tim Allen's a fucking felon? Not many. He's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. So, like, no, that doesn't need to define who I am. Some people, that's all they're ever going to see. He's a convicted felon, that's it. Fuck him. But that's not how I don't live like that. So I thought that quote was good in that show. It made me think, and it brought that to the surface. And then another guy said in the show that when you lose everything you have, then you are finally free. And I'm like, ooh, that's a spicy meatball right there. Because I lost everything I have. Everything. Everything that was ever important. And I don't mean things. I lost people. Everything. I lost everything. And how many times have you heard me say on this YouTube channel, I lost everything I have, including my reputation. My reputation's destroyed. Because how many people get on this channel and say some shit like, aren't you afraid that if you say the wrong thing, you're not going to be able to find a job? Aren't you afraid that people are going to see you on here and see the things that you say? How the fuck could I possibly say anything on this YouTube channel that's going to make shit any worse than the shit I said that put me in fucking prison for 2 years? Really? Like, I can't, I'm trying to figure out how to get the fucking, there we go. I've been trying to figure this out here and there. Well, I'm just, fuck it, I'm not editing. How many times have I said that after losing everything, I can't even get a job with fucking DoorDash? People keep saying, why don't you go be a truck driver? You could go be a truck driver now that you lost everything and you can't get a job. You could be a truck driver. I can't even get a fucking job with DoorDash on a bicycle, picking up a fucking bag of food from McDonald's and dropping it off at someone's fucking door. Yeah, they're gonna give me the keys to a fucking 18-wheeler and let me drive down the fucking road with a bunch of shit for Walmart. Yeah, like that's gonna fucking happen. Yeah, I can go right out there and do that. Yeah, let's see it. Oh yeah. Fuck, man. Who comes up with this dumb shit? But no, I can't even, like, why the fuck do I care what anybody sees on YouTube at this point? If I say some fucked up thing on YouTube, oh, they're never gonna hire you if they see you saying that on YouTube, you're not gonna get a job. I can't get a job. I can't get a fucking job. I can't get a job at fucking Ollie's discount department store. I can't get a job at Target. I can't get a job at Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell. I can't get a fucking job riding a fucking bicycle around town, picking up a bag of food at McDonald's and taking it to someone's house with DoorDash. I can't get the $120,000 a year job at the company in downtown Houston that handed it to me on a silver platter and said, here you go. Here's your new job. You just have to pass the background check. I can't get a fucking job anywhere. So why the fuck do I give a fuck at this point what anybody sees me say on fucking YouTube? And so that's why that quote makes sense. Once you've lost everything, then you're finally free. I'm free. I can say whatever the fuck I want now. I can talk shit about any company at any time. I can talk shit about any dirtbag politician. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say anytime I want. Forever. Forever. I never have to worry about what's gonna happen if I say the wrong thing. Oh no! It's never gonna happen. Like, I'm never gonna get a fucking job. I'm never gonna have to worry about, oh, that corporate job that I could have got, but I said the wrong thing on my YouTube channel and I I can't get that job at Halliburton because I talked about Dick Cheney being a war criminal and he used to be the CEO of Halliburton, so there goes that job. No, I can't get the fucking job at Halliburton because I'm a convicted felon. Because look, he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. He's a piece of shit. Don't hire him. So now I'm free. I'm free. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say because it's not going to make a difference. Nobody's going to give me the time of day for a fucking job. I'm not going to be able to move into some fucking apartment complex where they do a background check or a credit check or any of that stuff. I'm not going to be able to do anything at all where that shit from my past is going to be a problem. That's going to be the thing that fucks me moving forward. Nothing I say on fucking YouTube is going to have any effect on whether I get a job or not before that shit does. Nobody's going to go, oh, look, he's a convicted felon with 14 counts of these 2 crimes. Let's give him a job. And then turn around and say, oh, wait a minute, look what he said on YouTube last week. Never mind, we can't give him a... No, they're going to say, fuck him, we're not giving him the job. Never mind what the fuck came out of his mouth last week on his fucking YouTube channel. So, no, I'm answering a lot of your fucking dumbass comments where you're, like, telling me, aren't you worried about the things that you say? Aren't you worried about what might happen? The shit has fucking happened. That fucking ship sailed off to the wild blue yonder. It left the dock on August 12th, 2022, and that shit's not coming back. That fucking ship, it sunk. It was lost at sea. They found a tropical island full of naked women with their titties hanging out and said, this looks like a good place to set up camp. Whatever. They're gone. That ship is gone. It sailed away. It will never, ever, 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 ever come back. So why the fuck do I care? I don't care anymore. Why the fuck should I care about, if you say the wrong thing, it's gonna come back to... I already said the wrong fucking thing. I said the wrong thing back in 2022. On August 12th, 2022, the FBI drove a tank into my house because I said the wrong fucking thing. Took me off to fucking prison and ruined my fucking life. And now it's over. It's over. So now I can say the wrong fucking thing every fucking day now. Because who fucking cares? Everybody's going to look at that one. The one back there in 2022. That's the one that I should have been worried about. But now there's nothing I can do. I can't go back. I can't go back to August of 2022 and be like, I'm gonna change my tune and go, fix it. So whatever, dude. I can say whatever the fuck I want now. That's if I get one positive thing, one benefit from this whole fucking shit show. And this isn't even what I wanted to do. When I came out of prison, I just wanted to fucking chill and lay low and have a quiet, peaceful life with someone who I thought was going to be, worth spending my life with. But, something changed inside of me when I got thrown out into the fucking street to be homeless. And, at that point, I was just like, you know what? It wasn't, overnight, but maybe, a week or two after I became homeless, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck this. I'm just gonna let it all out. The atom that was held under the fucking surface, that whatever part of me I repressed because I was worried about saying the wrong thing, and about what it would do. I might not be able to keep my job if I say that on YouTube, or if I, what. Yeah, this shit's done. So now, just like the quote in the Star Wars movie, When you lose everything, you're finally free. I lost everything. Lost it all. All of it. Gone. Like a fucking tornado came to the trailer park and the smallest piece that was left behind is that big. Gone. Scattered to the fucking winds. Who fucking knows where that shit went? It's gone. It's over. Everything. And like I said, I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about every fucking relationship and career and everything I had going on in my life. Gone. Gone. So now I'm free. I'm free. I am completely free now, and I will say whatever the fuck I want at this point. I'll be the grumpy old bitchy ass old man that doesn't give a fuck at this point because I can. Why does a dog lick his own balls? Because he can. Why does Adam say whatever the fuck he wants? Because he can. So I'm going to leave you on that because I can't keep adjusting the light anymore. The light just keeps changing every 5 minutes. The video keeps getting grainier and grainier. And I'm just going to leave you with all that to chew on, and we'll talk later. Peace out.